Subscribe to the MTL World at Malworld 1 YouTube channel. Novel, The Primordial Law. Volume 5, Seeking Immortality in the Eastern Sea. Volume 5 Pinyin Donghai Xuan Xian. Chapter 54 491 Shocking Turn of Events. 54th of Volume 5. Translator, Shadow Knight AK. Editor, Shadow Knight AK. Li Weiyi's decision to visit Princess Dengfeng uninvited had already put him at a disadvantage, a situation he had mentally prepared for. He said, during last night's competition for the 9 sea banners, Your Highness the Princess only managed to secure 1 banner, while Bai Yeqing and Prince Mingzhao each claimed 3. Therefore, I urge Your Highness to moderate your demands. Li Weiyi's words were a subtle reminder to Princess Dengfeng that he understood her precarious position. Princess Dengfeng's expression darkened. While your strength is considerable, it falls far short of qualifying you to comment on this matter. Whoosh. The turtle scholar casually tossed a pebble, seemingly without exerting any force. Yet the moment the pebble landed, Li Weiyi's psychic field shattered like a mirror. The turtle scholar smiled and asked, Divine Hidden One, what do you think of this power? Effortless yet profound, seemingly slow but lightning fast, concealing skill within apparent clumsiness, Li Weiyi replied, this great technique has reached the 4th layer. Below the immortal realm, few can withstand it. Even cultivators stronger than you might underestimate its power due to carelessness, leaving them vulnerable to a devastating strike. This technique is called mortal technique. Utter clumsiness, the turtle scholar said. With my level of cultivation, I could only observe the battle last night. Li Weiyi desperately wanted to retrieve Hongling, red silk, but he restrained himself, wanting to hear Princess Dengfeng's demands first. Princess Dengfeng believed she had already intimidated Li Weiyi. First condition, Fu Wenyan's life is yours. The Earth Tome, book, governor's robe, and other treasures on his person belong to me. Li Weiyi remained noncommittal. And the second condition. You're quite close to Lu Fengshu, aren't you? Princess Dengfeng said, I want to meet him. That's the second condition. Meet him. Li Weiyi asked, surprised. The 4 from Zhongsheng Academy, plus Fu Wenyan, are all extraordinary, Princess Dengfeng explained, your strength alone isn't enough to qualify for cooperation with me. With him, it's barely sufficient. If we also include that mysterious man who saved you in Old Yuzhou, I might even consider offering slightly more favorable terms. No need to answer immediately. Think it over carefully. I'll await your response within 3 days. She was referring to Lu Yi. Li Weiyi and Yaoyan left the mansion and walked along the riverside path. The wide, placid river flowed directly into the East Sea. Yaoyan hadn't overheard the conversation between Li Weiyi and Princess Dengfeng, but she knew he had gone to discuss cooperation and that the talks hadn't gone well. She comforted him, the Eastern Sea monster clan's demons below the immortal realm are like a vast army, countless in number. Princess Dengfeng's assertiveness is understandable. But with the Calamity Crossing Temple backing us, there's no need to compromise. Stop worrying so much and focus on your cultivation, Li Weiyi said, oh, and help me procure a batch of true spiritual pills. Price is no object. Yaoyan nodded eagerly, leave it to me. From now on, any hidden one who needs cultivation resources can come to me. With my status, I can purchase them from the temple at much lower prices. Plus, many medicinal pills aren't even available outside. Careful. Sensing danger, Li Weiyi slammed his palm against his waist. Swish, swish. 7 phoenix-winged moth emperors immediately flew from his insect pouch, forming a protective circle around Yaoyan. In the next instant, a psychic attack, launched from an unknown source, struck directly at Li Weiyi's conscious soul. The world before Li Weiyi's eyes transformed. He felt himself plunged into an ice-bound realm, surrounded by swirling snow and 10 jong thick ice. His skin felt like it was about to crack from the cold. His senses were distorted, his consciousness attacked. Maintaining his spiritual wisdom, Li Weiyi recognized the illusion and refused to be deceived. Boom. The manifestations of the Fusong divine tree and the 7-clawed flame heavenly dragon erupted from his Tao heart, melting the ice and snow like a burning scroll, shattering the enemy's battle technique intent. Li Weiyi's vision cleared, revealing the scorching sun overhead as he stood by the riverbank. Within his wind mansion, the purple heaven thunder seal shot upward, expanding rapidly to the size of a house before crashing down on a specific point in the void. Boom. The thunderous roar reverberated across Moon Dragon Island Sea Market. A dense canopy of purple thunder and lightning crackled overhead, striking a humanoid figure that had been stealthily swooping down on Li Weiyi and Yaoyan. The figure was formidable. With a single palm strike, it clashed head-on with the purple heaven thunder seal and dozens of lightning dragons, its semi-transparent form momentarily solidifying. As Li Weiyi was attacked by a psychic attack, a colossal flood dragon claw, condensed from demonic chi, erupted from the nearby river, lunging toward Yaoyan. 7 phoenix-winged moth emperors intercepted the strike. Yaoyan acted decisively, immediately crushing the protective talisman Li Weiyi had given her. Talisman light spread out, enveloping both of them. Having unleashed the Purple Heaven Thunder Seal, Li Wei's battle intent and murderous aura surged to their peak. He thrust out both palms, releasing two Buddhist Tao imprint-shaped seals that blazed with golden light, striking the azure shadow in the water. Boom! Boom! Half of the azure shadow emerged from the water, its scales as large as palm fans, forged from azure jade. It was a three-eyed Kai Jiao, a creature that had not fully undergone dragon transformation. Its massive head bristled with ferocious fangs, radiating overwhelming qi. The third eye on its forehead, as wide as a bucket, was inscribed with dense scriptures and emitted a beam of azure light that struck one of the swastika seals. From its mouth, it spat out a dual-colored wind thunder banner, blocking the other Buddhist Tao imprint. The demon's keen senses had warned it of the imprint, lethal danger, making it clear that contact was fatal. Go! The mysterious figure, cloaked in invisibility, retreated with lightning speed, vanishing without a trace in an instant. The three-eyed Kai Jiao plunged into the water, activating its water escape technique. It surged along the river channel toward the East Sea, the riverbed temporarily withering dry in its wake. Li Wei, concerned for Yaoyan's safety, chose not to pursue, having already identified the attackers. Moments later, all martial mystic cultivators from the Zhu Li clan and Zhu Li hidden sect at the seventh heaven of the Dao Seed realm or higher, including several clan chiefs and priests, descended like rain around Li Wei and Yaoyan. Dozens of spiritual artifacts floated into the air, their scriptures cascading down like a sea of characters or a sky full of starlight. In the manor a mile away, Princess Dengfeng, Turtle Scholar, Crown Prince Ba, and Water Beaver Immortal all gazed in the direction of the attack on Li Wei and Yaoyan. Turtle Scholar's mind reeled. He actually blocked two major attackers single-handedly. The three-eyed Kai Jiao is Prince Mingzhao's second strongest subordinate, and the invisible assailant seems even more formidable. Princess Dengfeng, her voice tinged with disbelief, murmured, "It's Bai Yeqing." Bai Yeqing and the three-eyed Kai Jiao clearly intended to capture Yaoyan alive, which restrained their movements. Even so, managing to withstand their initial surprise attack was already a remarkable feat. Princess Dengfeng observed everything clearly. Bai Yeqing had launched a battle technique intent attack first, aiming to incapacitate Li Wei directly. Meanwhile, the three-eyed Kai Jiao, concealed underwater, moved to seize Yaoyan. This plan should have been foolproof. Unfortunately, Li Wei had anticipated their move, releasing 7 rare insects to protect Yaoyan. Not only did he resist Bai Yeqing's attack, but he swiftly shattered the man's psychic attack, forcing Bai Yeqing to reveal himself and engage personally. Even with Bai Yeqing's direct intervention, Li Wei neutralized his efforts using the Purple Heaven Thunder Seal. In the end, facing the combined power of numerous experts from the Zhu Li clan and the Zhu Li hidden sect, Bai Yeqing and the three-eyed Kai Jiao's plan crumbled, forcing them to retreat immediately. In that lightning-fast exchange, Li Wei's reaction speed, tactical acumen, and combat prowess left Princess Dengfeng and the Turtle Scholar, who had witnessed the entire sequence, utterly astonished. Had they been in Li Wei's position, facing such a sudden ambush, they doubted they could have withstood it. Before the various factions could even grasp what had happened, the battle was already over. They remained completely unaware of the extraordinary feat Li Wei had accomplished. The Water Beaver Immortal's eyes widened in disbelief. That cloaked figure was Bai Yeqing. Impossible. How could Li Wei have repelled him? Princess Dengfeng explained, he underestimated Li Wei's lightning-fast reflexes. He tried to catch Li Wei off guard, but the Purple Heaven Thunder Seal caught him off guard instead, nearly costing him dearly. In terms of cultivation strength, Bai Yeqing is undoubtedly superior to Li Wei. Crown Prince Ba added, he withstood the myriad inscriptions artifacts full force and was merely pushed back. His cultivation is truly terrifying, and his physical resilience is extraordinary. Bai Yeqing has done us 2 great favors, the Turtle Scholar chuckled, we should thank him properly. Huh. Great favors? The Water Beaver Immortal asked, confused. Firstly, the Turtle Scholar explained, he helped us gauge Li Wei's true strength. This will prevent us from being ambushed in future collaborations. Secondly, he has undoubtedly pushed Li Wei, the Zhu Li clan, and the Calamity Crossing Temple into direct opposition with Prince Mingzhao. By the riverbank, Li Wei retracted the Purple Heaven Thunder Seal and the 7 Phoenix-winged Moth Emperors. The 3 clan chiefs of the Zhu Li clan, along with 4 of the 9 great priests from the Zhu Li Divine Temple, approached Li Wei to inquire about the situation. By the time they arrived, Bai Yeqing and the three-eyed Kai Jiao had already retreated, leaving the enemy's identity unknown. It was the three-eyed Kai Jiao, Prince Mingzhao's second strongest subordinate. The Wind Thunder Banner is a formidable treasure. The other one wore an invisibility cloak, making their origins unclear. Li Wei had his suspicions, but voicing them would only worry Yaoyan without serving any practical purpose. The Zhu Li clan experts present were visibly shaken. They had clearly heard of the three-eyed Kai Jiao's fearsome reputation and understood the level of creature it was. During the battle in the southeast Nether Realm, I personally witnessed the three-eyed Kai Jiao devour an entire army, its battle formation proving unstoppable, a 9-star spiritual master priest said with deep apprehension. The Kai Li tribe clan chief, still shaken, exclaimed, "No wonder the Windthunder roared so fiercely earlier. I thought a great power of the immortal realm had intervened. You two get back to the ship immediately, it's too dangerous here." Li Weiyi's pupils constricted as he sensed something amiss. He abruptly turned to gaze toward the distant Azure Sea. Within the Moon Dragon Island sea market, many keen-sensed experts also detected the unusual fluctuations in qi. Moments later, the heaven and earth's spiritual qi began to boil and churn violently. Moon Dragon Island trembled violently, and a deep, resonant hum emanated from the earth. Beams of crimson light streaked across the sky, plunging the world into alternating cycles of brightness and darkness. Massive waves crashed across the sea, causing ships to collide. Many vessels were hurled onto the shore by the surging waters. Splash! Splash! One by one, the great powers of the immortal realm from various major powers transformed into streaks of light, soaring into the sky to stand among the clouds and survey the horizon. At the edge of the sea, the sky had been dyed gold by an unknown energy, and the faint echo of a dragon's roar could be heard. The earth continued to tremble relentlessly. Everyone stay on Moon Dragon Island. No one is to leave. Request the demon clan to activate the island's protective formation. Some powerful great powers of the immortal realm flew toward the source of the golden radiance. The entire Moon Dragon Island sea market was in chaos, its people terrified by the earlier celestial phenomena and terrifying aura. Li Weiyi pondered, suspecting that the transcendents from the Rice Palace and Lingxiao human clan had ventured deep beneath the sea, causing the disturbance. His heart grew uneasy. Moon Dragon Island was only 2,000 or 3,000 miles away. If they had awakened a Forbidden One, the consequences could be catastrophic. He and Yaoyan followed the elders of the Zhu Li clan, rapidly retreating from the coast. Blank. End of chapter. Subscribe to the MTL World at Malworld 1 YouTube channel. Novel. The Primordial Law. Volume 5. Seeking Immortality in the Eastern Sea. Volume 5 Pinyin Donghai Xuan Xian. Chapter 55 492 Reunion with Master Coffin. 55th of Volume 5. Translator. Shadow Knight AK. Editor. Shadow Knight AK. Moon Dragon Island, crescent-shaped, stretched 500 miles north to south and 100 miles at its widest point east to west. Located just 1,800 miles from the eastern territory of the Lingxiao realm, it was the largest island in the coastal region. Whoosh! Whoosh! Bright pillars of formation light erupted from the island's mountain peaks, ravines, and surrounding sea, piercing the sky. Formation scriptures and shimmering veils materialized, enveloping the island on all sides to repel the increasingly towering waves and the ancient, destructive spiritual qi surging from the distant sea. In the harbor, martial mystic cultivators living on ships and demonic beasts in the water scrambled to escape to higher ground inland. The world alternated between eerie silence, pitch-black darkness, and violent storms of lightning and thunder. The celestial phenomena were terrifying. Many low cultivation realm martial mystic cultivators and demonic beasts trembled, gripped by the fear that the earth might sink at any moment and the sky might collapse. Gale force winds tore through the formation barrier and swept across the island, their roar echoing like the bellowing of monstrous creatures from the seabed. Patches of golden flames erupted across the sea surface, causing sections of the ocean to boil and churn, releasing thick plumes of white mist. Do not panic. A immortal realm giant from the demon clan said, its vine-like tendrils anchoring it to both the earth and the sky, blooming into countless lantern-like flowers. Moondragon Island is protected by powerful island-guarding formations deployed by the demon clan. We will be safe. The East Sea is the territory of the Water Mother clan and the Flood Dragon clan. Their young offspring are all on this island. Even if someone is stirring up the seas, would they dare harm their own kin? Transcendent beings are stationed here, and the East Sea boasts countless powerful cultivators. Even if the nether realm of the dead were to attack, we could withstand them. Finding Yuer finally brought Li Weiyi peace of mind, like clinging to a life-saving plank amidst towering waves. Yuer felt the same way, the little girl thoroughly shaken by the ordeal. Even without the other shore heavenly pill, the Grand Palace Master's physical body could rival the top experts in the transcendent realm, and her psychic power might be equally formidable. Just as Zhu Keshi or Chongtian, in the Dao Seed realm, could contend with the young heavenly emperor of the ninth heaven through sheer physical prowess, or how a 9-star spiritual master could dominate battles below the immortal realm. Otherwise, why would the Demon Kingdom Crown Prince, Second Palace Master, Lord Lan, and others have spent 20 years meticulously plotting, only daring to act after Qilin Zhuang's return? Li Wei held Yuer close as he followed the Zhu Li hidden sect's elite cultivators up a towering mountain peak, hundreds of meters high, offering a panoramic view of the coastline. Something is deeply amiss, the ancient hidden lord, nearly 4 centuries old, murmured, his eyes clouded with concern. In all my years of cultivation, I've never witnessed such a bizarre celestial phenomenon. It's as if gods and demons are about to descend. I must investigate. If the situation worsens, we must immediately retreat to the Lingxiao realm. The ancient hidden lord, his eyes filled with worry, sought to join the great immortal experts from various major powers in venturing out to sea to investigate. The old man has already gone, the hidden lord interjected, blocking his path. You stay here. We can't afford to lose both the Zhu Li tribes and the Zhu Li hidden sect's strongest warriors. The clan chief of the Kandli tribe was publicly acknowledged as the strongest among the Zhu Li tribe. The ancient hidden lord before them, while perhaps not the absolute strongest within the hidden sect, was nearly so. The truly ancient hidden lords had long since departed for other living realms, their fates unknown for many years. The hidden lord exchanged a subtle glance with Li Wei, their understanding unspoken. Zhuoqiu Ran had imposed a gag order, forbidding them from speaking openly. Speaking would change nothing and only invite trouble. Li Wei said, the Confucian Dao ancestor of the Zhuoqiu clan has undoubtedly already rushed there. We should simply await news, there's no need to take unnecessary risks. The Zhuoqiu clan and the Zhu Li tribe were now allies, bound by shared interests. Ha ha ha. He's itching to go, sensing an unusual celestial phenomenon or the emergence of a rare treasure. He wants to seize this opportunity rather than spend his entire life trapped in the immortal realm. It was Elder Qin's voice. His scarred, weathered face appeared before them, followed by Lu Yi, who wore a bamboo hat. Elder Qin and the ancient hidden lord shared a close, irreverent friendship, allowing him to tease the latter without restraint. Of course, what he said was also true. Whether they were martial mystic cultivators in the Dao Seed realm or the immortal realm, all who came to the East Sea sought opportunities to defy fate and change their destinies. In contrast, the giants of the immortal realm placed even greater importance on this opportunity. Some were on the verge of exhausting their lifespans if they failed to break their immortal shackles. Others valued the transcendent realm above their own lives. Breaking a single immortal shackle would significantly elevate their status among immortals. The 7 realms of immortal each represented an entirely different realm of existence. Moreover, advancing to the next realm granted a jazi of lifespan, equivalent to an entire lifetime for an ordinary person. With such immense rewards at stake, they were willing to fight tooth and nail for it. Conversely, most Dao Seed realm martial mystic cultivators sought only to enhance their cultivation, without the immediate life or death stakes. Only those practicing dragon seed cultivation, aberrant humanoids, and the most exceptional heavenly prides aiming to cultivate the physical immortal body were truly desperate to compete. Elder Qin turned his gaze toward Li Wei and transmitted telepathically, if things go south, immediately follow me to the outpost. What about the others? Li Wei asked. I can only take members of the hidden sect. Well, as many as I can. Bringing even one extra person would violate military orders, Elder Qin replied. Yaoyan stood gracefully beside Li Wei, her face veiled, her gaze fixed on the ground as if counting every ant. Yao Qingshan, clad in black robes and wearing a mask, stood with the immortal realm giants of the hidden sect, engaged in hushed discussions. Whoosh. Qi Jianru, a immortal realm martial mystic cultivator from the Calamity Crossing Temple, descended like a peerless sword immortal, his figure tall and heroic as he landed like a beam of light on the mountain peak where the Zhu Li hidden sect martial mystic cultivators had gathered. He turned to Yaoyan. Junior sister, the elder has instructed me to escort you. Under normal circumstances, Yaoyan would have preferred to stay with the Zhu Li hidden sect. But at this moment, she agreed without hesitation, waving farewell to Li Wei, Hidden 24, Hidden 9, Hidden Lord, and the others. Before leaving, Yaoyan sent a telepathic message to Li Wei, I will gather the true spiritual pills as quickly as possible. Only after Qi Jianru led Yaoyan away did Yao Qingshan turn to watch her retreating figure. The hidden lord sighed and whispered in Li Wei's ear, she maintains this distance to protect Yaoyan. If the Western monster race were to learn she still lives, not only would Yaoyan be in grave danger, but the entire Zhu Li tribe could be annihilated. The Twin Rice sect might inform the Western monster race, Li Wei said, his concern evident. That won't happen, the hidden lord replied, the Twin Rice sect believes she perished in the ancestor of Raya's death spirit fire. Li Wei sensed the precariousness of Yao Qingshan's situation. Given her temperament, she would likely embark on a perilous journey sooner or later. Though the world was vast, danger lurked everywhere. Where could she possibly go? His gaze fell on Elder Qin and Lu Yi, and he began to ponder. The abnormal celestial phenomena surrounding Moondragon Island persisted for half a day. News trickled back to the island intermittently, most of it unsubstantiated rumors. Some claimed a powerhouse rivaling Lord Lan had arrived from the nether realm of the dead, while others spoke of six-clawed immortal dragon Qi appearing over the sea. Still others whispered of a void abyss opening beneath the waves, devouring seawater. As dusk fell, the sea gradually calmed, and the astonishing natural anomalies vanished. A transcendent from the Rice Palace was the first to return, piloting a palace-sized silver carriage that descended from the heavens above Moon Dragon Island like a returning deity, its structure resembling a jade palace from the immortal realm. He gathered all the Rice Palace's most talented young martial mystic cultivators and departed southward, the carriage rumbling through the clouds and violently shaking the air. The remaining twin Rice sect martial mystic cultivators boarded spiritual artifact warships and set sail. Soon after, transcendent figures from the Demon Clan, Calamity Crossing Temple, and the Lingxiao Realm human clan returned to Moon Dragon Island. As if by prior agreement, they remained tight-lipped about the day's events, merely instructing all young martial mystic cultivators to immediately board ships for Nine Ring Reef. Some transcendent figures, either piloting spiritual artifact flying boats or riding mounts, took groups of young disciples ahead. In the twilight, colossal warships sailed out of the harbor, heading into the deep sea. 1,000 sails billowed in unison, their masts rising like a forest. Under the radiant moonlight, every ship glowed with lanterns, creating a scene both serene and bustling. The martial mystic cultivators of the Zhu Li hidden sect had integrated with the various Zhu Li tribes, dispersing across 5 warships. The Zhuoqiu clan's fleet, numbering 7 vessels, sailed nearby in formation. Hidden Lord and Li Wei stood on the deck, enjoying the warm sea breeze as they gazed at the magnificent ocean vista. The timing is off, Hidden Lord remarked. We were told the excavation of the ancient immortal dragon remains wouldn't begin for another month, citing insufficient preparations. Now it seems something major must have happened underground, forcing them to expedite the operation. No information about the underground events has leaked, Li Wei observed. This suggests the Transcendent have reached some consensus to conceal the truth. Hidden Lord nodded in agreement. Let's wait for news from teacher. Oh, and the leader is also aboard. The leader Hidden Lord referred to as Master Coffin, Li Yuange. Li Wei and the Hidden Lord descended the stairs to the dimly lit lower deck of the ship. Guarding Master Coffin was Elder Zhou, a hulking figure with a massive tiger's head. Li Wei gazed at the familiar stone coffin in the room, a surge of emotion welling up within him. He whispered, how many people know Master Coffin has returned? Only the Zhu Li hidden sect knows, and fewer than 10 people at that, Elder Zhou replied, his tone gentle. He shared a close bond with Li Wei and radiated none of the oppressive aura of a powerful cultivator. Before the chaos in the Lingxiao realm erupted, Master Coffin had to reveal his return to enter the hidden sect and summon the hidden ancestor. It was a necessary risk. Master Coffin's voice echoed from within the coffin, you two should leave now. I need to speak with Wei alone for a while. Elder Zhou and the Hidden Lord bowed respectfully and withdrew. A narrow slit opened in the stone coffin's lid, releasing a frigid corpse qi that enveloped the entire room, sealing it off from the outside world. Within this corpse qi, Li Wei sensed violent fluctuations of spiritual qi. Each strand of the qi resembled a divine chain, capable of sealing space itself. Of the 3 masters, Master Guan had been reduced to ashes, and Spirit Tablet Master remained only as a wisp of soul. Only Master Coffin retained a partial corpse. And this was no ordinary corpse, it was the remains of a transcendent being. Li Wei reached out a finger to touch the corpse qi. Master Coffin's spiritual qi. It must be transcendent spiritual qi, right? From within the stone coffin, Master Coffin's voice echoed, the other shore heavenly pill miraculously survived. With the Shaoyang star's mysterious power, both the ancestral field and the pill have been partially revived. Partially revived. Li Wei knew that in the nether realm of the dead, transcendent corpses could develop spiritual intelligence and become corpse spirits, but that didn't mean they could wield transcendent power. Firstly, these corpses had lost much of their physical body's secret abilities. Secondly, the ancestral field had withered, and the other shore heavenly pill had either been passed down to descendants, vanished, or cooled completely. Master Coffin chuckled. Just as you suspected, we can wield a portion of our transcendent power. Li Wei's face lit up with joy. No wonder you dared to venture into the underground immortal mansion and emerge unscathed. Blank. End of chapter. Subscribe to the MTL World at Malworld 1 YouTube channel. Novel. The Primordial Law. Volume 5. Seeking Immortality in the Eastern Sea. Volume 5 Pinyin Donghai Xuan Xian. Chapter 56 493 30,000 Li in the Deep Sea. 56th of Volume 5. Translator. Shadow Knight AK. Editor. Shadow Knight AK. It's all thanks to Shaoyang Star, Master Coffin said. The blood qi there gradually restored my body, and the spiritual power nourished my remnant soul. It's a pity that my third eye spirit realm was destroyed. If the psychic power Nianli stars were still intact, I might have had a chance to rekindle its light. Master Coffin showed little regret, already content with what he had. He differed greatly from Zhenhai Guanwu. Zhenhai Guanwu harbored grander ambitions, striving for higher goals, to regain flesh and blood, reclaim her position as ancient heavenly emperor, and ascend to the immortal realm against all odds. Master Coffin, on the other hand, was merely a corpse spirit. What set him apart from other corpse spirits with transcendent bodies was the bronze ancient ship, which had preserved his memories from his previous life. Shaoyang Star had nourished his body, remnant soul, and other shore heavenly pill. As Li Wei first entered Shaoyang Star, Master Coffin had explained that during the battle a millennium ago, spatial power had guided them to Shaoyang Star before their departure. This connection to Shaoyang Star allowed all participants to draw upon its power to heal their wounds and nourish their souls. It was a special privilege granted by Dao ancestors Tai Chi Fish Master to those who fought in the war. Even after Master Guan had been reduced to ashes and buried deep within the blood mud space, he could still manifest a humanoid body of blood mud. This demonstrated the mysterious and formidable power of Shaoyang Star. Master Coffin said, "We went to the underground immortal mansion to find energy substances that could rapidly restore our cultivation. Without that journey, I wouldn't have been able to regain my transcendence level strength, though I'm still far from my peak condition." Li Wei pondered this. So, excavating the ancient immortal dragon remains will be our next opportunity to recover our power. Exactly. Master Coffin asked, "What about Mist Celestial?" Li Wei shook his head and sighed. "She hasn't contacted me. At times, I can vaguely sense her location, but the feeling is so faint, like trying to catch the wind with my bare hands, I can't be sure if I've truly grasped anything." The spirit tablet master's voice echoed from within the coffin. "With your current cultivation, a young marriage bride can't stray too far from you." Li Wei was mildly surprised to hear the spirit tablet master was also inside the coffin. "How far is too far?" he asked. "I don't know. I only know that if your young bride leaves you beyond a certain distance, she will become exposed to the law of life," the spirit tablet master replied. Master Coffin countered, "Not necessarily. Mist Celestial's 100 Hells Wind chime is crafted from immortal bone, which might allow her to evade the law of life." Li Wei, keenly aware of his own path to cultivation, asked, "Do either of you know about the Sentinel Spirit Army? Have they contacted you?" "For you, that would be a good place to go," Master Coffin said. "I served as the Sentinel Lord of the Cave Void Camp for some time and am quite familiar with the area. Once we've settled things here, we'll go together." Master Coffin truly knows everything and has done everything, Li Wei said with a smile, finally feeling reassured. They left the room. Li Wei and the Hidden Lord ascended the narrow staircase. The Hidden Lord's voice was filled with worry. "The chief's return is undoubtedly a momentous occasion, but what about the Earthwolf King's army? If we don't retrieve the immortal star soon, Shinar will break through to the transcendent realm, and we'll face unimaginable trouble. Barbarian bandits will always seek to break free from their restraints." Li Wei realized that the hidden sect likely had no idea of Master Coffin's true strength, believing him to be merely a corpse and thus sending old Zhou to protect him. Master Coffin's deliberate concealment of his power must stem from his own concerns. But Li Wei had already devised a plan to retrieve Shinar's immortal star. It was essential. Reaching the deck, they saw Xuanhuan haunting in her Taoist robes, arriving from the sea, riding the wind and treading on moonlight. Her delicate figure, sculpted like jade, finally revealed her true appearance. She descended gracefully and offered a serene bow, radiating the ethereal elegance of an immortal. "Greetings, Hidden Lord. The ancestor wishes to see you both." A bright lamp illuminated the highest deck of the Xuanhuan sect's flagship. Xuanhuan sat at a desk piled high with ancient texts, his expression grave as he observed the three figures in the room. After a long silence, he finally spoke. "It's possible this is connected to the immortal Dao Dragon Meridian." The Hidden Lord held his breath, focusing his spiritual chi. "Master, what's the current situation? This matter is of utmost importance, so I can't reveal too much. The underground space has shifted to another location. All parties have agreed to temporarily conceal the truth and immediately begin excavating the ancient immortal dragon remains. You three are privy to this information. I must warn you again, absolute secrecy is paramount." Xuanhuan retrieved two talismans from the wide sleeves of his Confucian robes and handed them to Li Wei and Xuanhuan haunting. "The excavation of the ancient immortal dragon remains presents an extraordinary opportunity for both of you, but it also carries immense danger and fierce competition. We won't be able to protect you there. Are you prepared to face the likes of Sheng Wulian, Si Wuyan, and the other young celestial emperors of the ninth heaven?" Xuanhuan haunting glanced at the talisman in her hand. "Is this to protect our lives?" 10,000 miles divine swift talisman. Xuanhuan declared. "If you face mortal danger," he continued, "activate this talisman. It will unleash unparalleled speed, and its talisman light provides formidable defense, allowing you to escape 10,000 miles in a short time. Hurry up and thank the ancestor. The Hidden Lord urged, gently kicking Li Wei. Even great immortal cultivators would covet this talisman. It's worth a life. Li Wei understood that Xuanhuan was treating him as Xuanhuang's fianca copyright, hence the equal treatment and the gift of this talisman. Accepting it would tacitly acknowledge the ancestor's authority. Li Wei already owed Xuanhuan a deep debt of gratitude and held him in profound respect. Acknowledging him as an ancestor was no issue. But the matter of marriage to Xuanhuan. Ancestor, Li Wei said, are you underestimating us? We shouldn't need such a treasure to deal with them. Good. That's the spirit. Xuanhuan responded immediately, as if he had been waiting for this very remark. Listen carefully, you two. Whoever uses this talisman first will have their next life-saving measure downgraded by 1 level. The one who uses it last will receive an additional reward. Do you know why? Xuanhuan sat as still as a painted scroll, resembling a refined Confucian Tao scholar rather than her usual lively self. The ancestor wants us to act with caution and rely on our own wisdom and strength to solve problems. Li Wei added, he fears that if we have powerful tools, we'll become arrogant and reckless, provoking anyone and doing anything without considering our true capabilities. Xuanhuan nodded. That's why I didn't give you offensive talismans. But just because I didn't provide them doesn't mean other sects, elders haven't equipped their disciples. Rest assured, ancestor, Li Wei and Xuanhuan said in unison, we'll proceed with utmost caution. Xuanhuan frowned, his brow furrowing. I remember during the engagement banquet, Xiaoji Yu gave you engagement tokens, the Wind Fire Dragon Phoenix pendants, right? The Wind Dragon pendant and Fire Phoenix pendant. Why aren't you wearing them? They're 1,000 inscriptions artifacts with formidable defensive capabilities. Li Wei understood perfectly what the ancestor was implying and glanced at Xuanhuan. Haunting pretended not to notice until he gave her a pleading look. Xuanhuan said, old man, stop worrying about us young people. We've already discussed it, we won't consider marriage until we reach the immortal realm. Xuanhuan kept the Hidden Lord behind for a private conversation, while Li Wei and Xuanhuan left the room. Li Wei asked, what do you mean, not considering marriage until the immortal realm? Shouldn't we just break off the engagement? We're brothers who share life and death. If we don't stall him, the old man might force us to marry right now. How would you explain that to Zhang Ning? Xuanhuan reverted to her true self, shedding her demure and elegant facade, and winked at him. She understood Li Wei better than anyone. Among his many romantic interests, Zhang Ning was the only one he truly cared for. Otherwise, why would he have insisted on sending Zhang Ning away from Lingxiao City? As for whether they should break off the engagement or go through with the marriage, Xuanhuan didn't particularly care. She hadn't even given it much thought. Hearing Zhang Ning's name, Li Wei glanced at Xuanhuan, who stood beside him with an indifferent expression. A pang of guilt struck his heart, and his thoughts drifted far away. Li Wei said, keep the myriad manifestations staff spear for now. When the time comes, you'll need to become Li Wei again. Actually, I could also play Lu Fengshu, Xuanhuan said with a gentle smile, the peachwood staff suits me better. Li Wei's heart stirred. He realized this suggestion had merit. A mix of truth and deception would keep their enemies guessing. They returned to the Zhu Li clan's ship. Li Wei descended to the lower deck and secluded himself in Master Coffin's cabin. He activated the Tao Ancestor's Tai Chi fish, entering the blood mud space. Master Coffin and Spirit Tablet Master followed him inside. Li Wei fed the 7 phoenix-winged moth emperor's essence medicine that was 5,000 years old. He then handed the Great Earth's Primordial Essence Spiritual Qi chapter from the Earth Tome to Master Coffin for study, confident that this manual would greatly accelerate the Master's recovery. Over the next period, Li Wei wove a time cocoon and began refining Earth Sword talismans using transcendent bone. These transcendent bone Earth Sword talismans would be far more durable and sharper, preventing them from shattering easily. Under Spirit Tablet Master's guidance, he also attempted to refine Heaven Sword talismans. Days turned into weeks. The journey from Moondragon Island to Nine Ring Reef spanned nearly 30,000 li. Propelled by the ship's formation, it took 11 days to reach their destination. Within the time cocoon, 2 months had already passed. Nine Ring Reef, located in the deep waters of the East Sea, comprises 9 small island reefs. Standing on the deck, one could see the massive copper pillars rising from the reef tops, each towering over 100 zhang above the surface, a truly awe-inspiring sight. The heaven and earth spiritual qi of the East Sea continuously converged upon these pillars, condensing into crackling lightning. Thunder rumbled incessantly. These were the 9 dragon-locking pillars forged by the Rice Palace and Calamity Crossing Temple, each as heavy as a mountain. Far removed from the Lingxiao realm, this region was shrouded in the dark power of the nether realm of the dead, where eternal night reigned. The sea teemed with countless malevolent demons, creatures of low intelligence and savage temperament. The Zhu clan's warships followed the Xuanhuan sect's fleet toward the waters surrounding Phoenix Stone Reef. The older generation of powerhouses, led by the Transcendents, had already descended into the subterranean depths. Master Coffin and Spirit Tablet Master were secretly escorted underground by Old Zhou. The sky hung low with thick, oppressive storm clouds. At the summons of Zhu Kashir Chongtian and Tang Zan, representatives from various states and regions of the Lingxiao realm's younger generation of martial mystic cultivators gathered aboard the Zhu sect's Crimson Jade ancient warship to discuss their next course of action. Blank. End of chapter. Subscribe to the MTL World at Malworld 1 YouTube channel. Novel. The Primordial Law. Volume 5. Seeking Immortality in the Eastern Sea. Volume 5 Pinyin Donghai Xuan Xian. Chapter 57 494 The Four Great Experts of the Zongsheng Academy. 57th of Volume 5. Translator. Shadow Knight AK. Editor. Shadow Knight AK. Before Qilin Zhuang's return, the Zhu clan had single-handedly seized 3 prefectures from the Quanrong and K clan, backed by the king of the Western Sea and the Western monster race. This feat demonstrated the formidable power of this ancient sect, which had dominated the Western territory for millennia. Despite suffering repeated heavy losses and being on the front lines of the Demon Clan's invasion of the Lingxiao realm, the Zhu clan remained resilient, like battle-hardened veterans who never faltered. Li Wei and Xuanhuan Hongting traveled together to the Red Jade ancient warship, where the Zhu clan's martial mystic cultivators were stationed. Li Wei wore the purple governor's official robe, while Xuanhuan Hongting donned a green Taoist robe. Though their attire represented the secular world and the realm beyond, they exuded a harmonious aura, like a divine couple blessed by the heavens. The 3 clan chiefs of the Zhu Li tribe and 3 Dao Seed Realm 9th Heaven elders from the Xuanhuan clan boarded the warship and immediately joined the elders from the Zhu clan, Snow Sword Tang Court, Thundercloud Sect, and the Imperial Court. Although Li Wei and Xuanhuan Hongting possessed superior cultivation and combat prowess, the older generation retained responsibility for strategic coordination, battle formation deployment, and defensive measures. The warship, forged from red jade-like material, lay anchored 7 miles from Phoenix Stone Reef. Below, waves rose half a zhang high. On the ship, Li Wei and Xuanhuan Hongting walked along the deckside passage. Li Wei observed the dark red islet reefs in the distance, gauging the depth of the surrounding sea and sensing the fluctuations of heaven and earth's spiritual qi in the air. He had cultivated a habit of assessing his environment upon arrival, striving to transform natural conditions into opportune timing and favorable terrain. Xuanhuan Hongting introduced him to the strengths and backgrounds of the martial mystic cultivator representatives from each province, one by one. Suddenly, Li Wei asked, "Why haven't I seen Xuanhuan Kangwu, the clan head of the Xuanhuan clan? Didn't Uncle Li tell you?" Xuanhuan Hongting replied. "Tell me what?" Li Wei shook his head slightly. Xuanhuan Hongting explained, "After the chaos in the Lingxiao realm subsided, Qishao reported Xuanhuan Kangwu's plot to harm you to me and Uncle Ling. Uncle Ling was thunderously furious and felt too ashamed to face you and Uncle Li, overwhelmed with guilt. When confronted, Xuanhuan Kangwu naturally denied everything. Instead, he wept over the tragic death of his daughter, claiming it was all a conspiracy by the Twin Rice sect, a cunning scheme to sow discord." Li Wei, imagining Xuanhuan Ling's helplessness in this situation, understood his predicament. Xuanhuan Kangwu's reasoning is sound and his arguments compelling. With no witnesses to contradict him, there's no way to investigate further. Qishao has no evidence, it's entirely possible he was deceived by a Twin Rice sect expert. Normally, that would be true, Xuanhuan Hongting said, but Qishao has wagered his life, demanding the ancestor be summoned to search both their souls. Li Wei was moved. Old Qi is like a dead pig unafraid of boiling water, he sighed, having already had his soul searched, he has no hope of achieving transcendence. But Xuanhuan Kangwu, with his unparalleled innate talent and esteemed status, if his soul can be searched today without evidence, enemy forces will use the same method to frame every promising heavenly pride in the Xuanhuan clan. What will the Xuanhuan clan do then? Xuanhuan Kangwu made the same argument, Xuanhuan Hongting replied. Seeing the hint of a smile in her eyes, Li Wei immediately realized she and Xuanhuan Ling must have devised a plan to break this deadlock. "I still prefer you as Xuanhuan Ting, bold, unrestrained, and the good brother I shared a bed with. You're so reserved now, I barely recognize you." Xuanhuan Hongting finally revealed the truth. That day, after you, Xuanhuan Qingying, Zuo Sheng, and Zuo Shi left Chu Prefecture City, Xuanhuan Kangwu secretly sent men to follow you. It's easily verifiable. Don't worry, she added, Uncle Ling, with his hatred for evil, has already crippled Zuoqiu Kengwu's cultivation and handed him over to Uncle Li. His innate talent won't save him from justice. This matter concerned the cooperative relationship between the Zhu Li hidden sect and the Zuoqiu clan. Without a satisfactory explanation from the Zuoqiu clan, they would never pass the Hidden Lord's scrutiny. Li Wei mused, Old Li probably didn't want to burden me with the decision to kill him, so he took matters into his own hands. Regardless of the reason, as the Zuoqiu clan's son-in-law, Li Wei's killing of their clan head would inevitably draw criticism from the clan's ignorant members. By taking action himself, the Hidden Lord would bear the burden of being the villain. Zhu Yibai, clad in his 1,000 inscriptions crimson armor, hurried over, scolding, Brother Wei, everyone's been searching for you, yet you're here romancing Zuoqiu Hongting. Do you two even understand the importance of prioritizing the greater good? How many days have you been together? Aren't you tired of each other yet? Put aside your personal affairs for now and come with me. Li Wei and Zuoqiu Hongting exchanged a knowing smile, offering no explanation as they followed him toward the assembly hall. Outside the hall stood 300 Blade Axe Battalion soldiers in perfect formation. Clad in black armor, they carried swords and axes, their sharp gazes and imposing presence creating an aura of unshakable strength, like an impenetrable wall of bronze and iron. Noticing Li Wei's captivated gaze, Zhu Yibai chuckled proudly, these are elite warriors drawn from the army, each a veteran of countless battles. When they form their battle formation, they can split mountains and carve valleys. If Sheng Wulian dares to storm our Zhu clan's Red Jade ancient warship as he did at the commander's banquet, he'll never leave alive. The Zhu clan had to prepare for such a contingency. Huoxin's humiliating death at the banquet had cost them immense face, and they were certain he would seek revenge. A mocking voice carried on the wind, the Zhu clan certainly has a big mouth. Bringing your entire army to the East Sea. Can such a tiny phoenix stone reef even accommodate your entire clan? Swish. Swish. Representatives from the Calamity Crossing Temple descended onto the Red Jade ancient warship like streaks of light. The Calamity Crossing Temple and the Lingxiao realm had recently formed the Human Alliance, so it was natural for their top experts to convene for discussions. Led by Fu Wenyan and 4 heavens chosen from the Zhongsheng Academy, several other Taoist-robed figures also arrived. Each of them radiated spiritual qi, their pure immortal physiques dominating the scene. Their eyes gleamed with a condescending arrogance, a reflection of the superiority complex cultivated by many Calamity Crossing Temple disciples from the living realm, who styled themselves as immortal masters and basked in the adulation and flattery of countless factions. Humans can conceal their malice and wickedness, but it's far harder to hide contempt and self-importance. The former know their actions are wrong and can therefore suppress them. The latter genuinely believe in their own superiority, naturally revealing their arrogance. The owner of the earlier mocking voice was Yi Kang, one of the 4 great experts of the Zhongsheng Academy and the top-ranked chief disciple of the 9th heaven of the Dao Seed realm. With shoulders 4 feet wide and long, powerful arms, Yi Kang wore Confucian robes, yet lacked the refined elegance of a Confucian Dao martial mystic cultivator. His physical body exuded raw power, and a sword wrapped in black cloth hung across his back. Accompanying Yi Kang was Yi Baiyu, an ordinary chief disciple of the 9th heaven. Veiled and possessing a lithe figure, she was wreathed in swirling strands of white mist. Her voice was cold as she declared, the flag representing Phoenix Stone Reef was only captured by Zhu Kashir Chongtian with the assistance of the Jade Sword Immortal of Chong Lake. It was the Calamity Crossing Temple's proposal that granted the Lingxiao realm the right to send representatives to compete for the flags. Therefore, the allocation of martial mystic cultivator slots for Phoenix Stone Reef should be determined by the Calamity Crossing Temple's young powerhouses, not by your Lingxiao realm's unilateral decisions. The 7 great experts' competition for the 9 flags had predetermined the ownership of the 9 islet reefs. Sheng Wulian and Si Wuya claimed the 3 most central and largest reefs. Bai Yeqing and Prince Mingjiao also secured 3 reefs. Changyu Jian and Zhu Kashir Chongtian each took 1 reef. Phoenix Stone Reef, among the 9, was considered peripheral and relatively small, capable of accommodating only 300 to 500 martial mystic cultivators. Yet the Zhu clan had brought far more than that, highlighting the scarcity of available slots. The 9 islet reefs were scattered across a 300-mile stretch of ocean. 9 dragon-locking pillars anchored the constantly shifting subterranean space, securing the ancient immortal dragon remains at the seabed between the islands. Phoenix Stone Reef lay 50 miles from the nearest of the other 8 reefs, beyond visual range. Zhu Yibai, displeased by the Yi clan's attitude, coldly remarked, Yi Kang, Yi Baiyu, your hostile and contemptuous tone, could it stem from the death of that old woman of the Yi clan in the cloud heaven, Yuntian, immortal plane? Insolence. Yi Kang and Yi Baiyu's eyes flashed with icy fury. Their battle intent erupted simultaneously, sharp as swords and spears, pressing down on Zhu Yibai's soul spirit and consciousness. Madame Yi's death had been a devastating blow to the Yi clan. Zhu Yibai's public mention of it was like a slap in their faces. Given their arrogant pride, how could they not be enraged? Whoosh! Li Wei shifted, stepping in front of Zhu Yibai. Spiritual qi erupted from his wind mansion, dispelling the battle intent of the two attackers. Yi Kang and Yi Baiyu narrowed their eyes, recognizing the man before them. Fu Wenyan had long promised them rewards for helping eliminate this person. They had even secretly divided Li Wei's treasures among themselves, but they had yet to find an opportunity to strike. Li Wei said, with your cultivation levels, such an attack would severely damage Brother Zhu's soul spirit. As guests, aren't you being a bit too harsh? Clatter. Behind Zhu Yibai, 300 martial mystic cultivators from the Blade Axe Battalion raised their battle axes in unison. Murderous intent coalesced into blood-red clouds. Fu Wenyan, ever the schemer, quickly stepped forward to mediate. We're allies here. What's going on? Brother Yi, Sister Yu, quickly withdraw your battle intent. Yibai is my junior brother, he's just straightforward and didn't mean to provoke you by mentioning the undead. Who provoked whom first? I suspect senior brother Fu has been pulling strings behind the scenes to make them so arrogant, Zhu Yibai retorted coldly. He continued in a low voice, though a large number of Zhu clan martial mystic cultivators have come to the East Sea, not all will disembark on the island. Today's meeting is to allocate the landing quotas in advance, preventing any unpleasantness later. Fu Wenyan forced a bitter smile, glancing back at the four members of the Zhongsheng Academy and the martial mystic cultivators from the Calamity Crossing Temple with an air of helplessness. It was as if Zhu Yibai were being unreasonable, and he was the one suffering a great injustice. Representatives from Zhu Kashir Chongtian and the various states of the Lingxiao realm emerged from the hall. Among them, the imperial court martial mystic cultivators harbored intense hostility toward Fu Wenyan and the Yi clan. They still vividly remembered the brutal battle of Lingxiao City. Zhu Kashir Chongtian, his white hair and beard flowing, raised a hand to signal the Blade Axe Battalion to lower their battle axes and stand before Fu Wenyan and the other Calamity Crossing Temple martial mystic cultivators. His eyes were icy as he spoke. You need to understand one thing. It is the Calamity Crossing Temple that needs the human clan of the Lingxiao realm, not the other way around. That flag on Phoenix Stone Reef was taken by my own fists, not gifted by you. You may observe today's proceedings, but do you think you have the right to interfere? Fu Wenyan, I heard you arrived here 10 days early, following the Calamity Crossing Temple's transcendent, and absorbed a considerable amount of six-clawed immortal dragon qi. Have you broken through to the ninth heaven yet? Fu Wenyan maintained his composure, but everyone could see he was struggling to restrain himself. Since you haven't yet reached the ninth heaven, you should keep a low profile. The Lingxiao people still remember the slaughter Madame Yi committed on the Cloud Heaven Yuntian immortal plane. We're merely refraining from pursuing the matter for now, Zhu Kashir Chongtian declared. Blank. End of chapter. Subscribe to the MTL World at Malworld 1 YouTube channel. Novel. The Primordial Law. Volume 5. Seeking Immortality in the Eastern Sea. Volume 5 Pinyin Donghai Xuan Xian. Chapter 58 495 Slaying the Chief Disciple. 58th of Volume 5. Translator. Shadow Knight AK. Editor. Shadow Knight AK. Behind Fu Wenyan stood Meng Hualong, the foremost talent of the younger generation from the Meng clan, the leading family among the 100 schools of Zhongsheng Academy. His voice, calm yet thunderous, said, Old Master Zhu's physical prowess in the Dao Seed realm is indeed extraordinary. But if even one of us breaks through to immortal, will he regret his words and actions today? Zhu Kashir Chongtian retorted, break through then. What's stopping you? Are you lacking immortality pills? Would Calamity Crossing Temple ever run out of immortality pills? Tai Shiyu squeezed beside Li Wei and whispered with a chuckle, these prodigies traveled all the way to the East Sea instead of secluding themselves to break through to immortal realm. The truth is, they're all arrogant and ambitious, secretly hoping to seize an opportunity to cultivate an immortal body. No wonder none of them have weak physiques, Li Wei remarked. Tai Shiyu asked, can you defeat Fu Wenyan? What's your plan? Li Wei countered. Tai Shiyu said, if you're confident you can defeat him, I'll contact some old-timers from the ninth heaven and find an opportunity to corner and eliminate him. If he breaks through to the ninth heaven, who knows what chaos he might unleash. Calm down. Li Wei retorted, you're being recklessly bold. Even great powers of the immortal realm couldn't kill him, what makes you think we can? Tai Shiyu sighed, assuming Li Wei lacked confidence, true. He is, after all, one of the young celestial emperors, invincible within his realm. Li Wei considered Tai Shiyu a close friend and didn't want him to get involved in this dangerous confrontation. This was a battle at the peak level. Boom. 7 miles away, the dragon-locking bronze atop Phoenix Stone Reef trembled violently. Instantly, over a dozen bolts of celestial thunder and lightning crashed down, plunging the sky into darkness before abruptly brightening again. The sea churned violently, sending waves towering dozens of feet into the air. Roar. A dragon's roar echoed from the sea beyond Phoenix Stone Reef. Clusters of golden light surged from the depths, radiating outward in all directions. Six-clawed immortal dragon chi is leaking out. There must be another fissure on the seabed. Fortunately, the 9 dragon-locking pillars are stabilizing the terrain and space. Otherwise, this entire sea area would collapse. On the Crimson Jade ancient warship, martial mystic cultivators like Fu Wenyan, Meng Hualong, Yi Baiyu, Yi Kang, Zhu Kexier Chongtian, and others erupted with maximum speed, charging toward the turbulent sea area. They were acutely aware of the benefits of absorbing the 6-clawed immortal dragon chi. Zhuoqiu Hongting turned to Li Wei, "Shall we go? Let's move." Li Wei produced 2 divine speed talismans, affixing one to himself and the other to Zhuoqiu Hongting. The pair transformed into streaks of light, swiftly overtaking all the martial cultivators who had departed from the Crimson Jade ancient warship. Unfortunately, beyond Phoenix Stone Reef, within the sea area shrouded by the 9 dragon-locking pillars, the governor's robe could no longer be activated. Fu Wenyan telepathically communicated with Yi Baiyu and Yi Kang, "Stop them. I must absorb enough 6-clawed immortal dragon chi to break through before the excavation begins." Yi Kang acted with decisive resolve, unleashing his Dao Heart manifestation to envelop Li Wei. He harbored no underestimation, knowing Li Wei possessed the strength to contend with Junxin, ranking among the top 5, perhaps even the top 3, strongest members of the human race in the Lingxiao realm. Sensing the spiritual qi coiling around him, Li Wei didn't turn back. In his mind's eye, he could vividly picture Yi Kang behind him, hands clenched into claws, his figure splitting into 9 distinct forms. 9 claw seal Dao techniques descended simultaneously, transforming into the colossal claw shadows of 9 ancient immortal giant beasts. Yi Kang possessed extraordinary comprehension. He mastered minor techniques with a single glance and mastered great techniques far more quickly than other sect leaders. Clang! Li Wei drew the yellow dragon sword, spun around, and unleashed a sword chi blade stretching hundreds of feet across the sea. The sword's strike echoed with a dragon's roar. The sword chi materialized as a yellow dragon, its form stretching across the waves. Boom! The 9 Dao techniques Yi Kang had unleashed shattered completely against the single sword strike. Yi Kang was thrown backward, losing control of his body. He immediately drew his saber and slashed through the yellow dragon-shaped sword chi, finally regaining his footing. Li Wei's sword strike had an immense area of effect, engulfing Fu Wenyan, Zhu Kexier Chongtian, and the others. Each of them unleashed their own techniques, fists, palms, and other methods, to shatter the sword chi, their hearts filled with awe. During the commander's banquet battle, they had only witnessed Li Wei's extraordinary psychic power. But this sword strike made it clear to everyone that Li Wei's martial mystic Dao cultivation had also reached the pinnacle. Li Wei wanted to continue concealing Lu Fengshu's identity, so he refrained from using his 3-colored spirit light flame psychic power and instead relied on his martial mystic Dao skills. Fu Wenyan's heart tightened as he sensed the overwhelming pressure and danger, fueling his urgency to break through to the 9th heaven. With newfound reverence, he shouted, "Truly worthy of the Southern Divine Hidden One. In just 3 or 4 years, you've surpassed the progress we've made in decades. With such talent and fortune, even the Wind Mansion Dao seed can break through to immortal." He was subtly reminding everyone that the treasures to be gained from killing Li Wei far outweighed the opportunity presented by the ancient immortal dragon remains. Li Wei ignored him, charging toward Yi Baiyu with his sword. "I could tolerate your sibling's lawless attempt to assassinate me. But daring to kill my fiancé copyright I'll make your blood stain the East Sea crimson." Yi Baiyu hurled a thumb-thick white jade divine lock, which coiled around Zhuoqiu Hongting's neck, attempting to drag her back. Hearing Li Wei's damning words, she was startled. She had considered seizing the remnant lamp within Zhuoqiu Hongting's mind realm between her eyebrows, but how could she possibly kill someone in broad daylight, under the eyes of so many witnesses? That would incite universal outrage. Damn it! Yi Kang realized Li Wei was exploiting the situation and immediately drew his blade to pursue him. Crack! Li Wei's sword severed the 7th grade 100 inscriptions artifact white jade divine lock. A cicada-like hum emanated from his body as his footsteps blurred into afterimages, his sword thrusting straight for Yi Baiyu's forehead. Apart from Yi Kang, the others weren't overly concerned for Yi Baiyu's safety. After all, she was the foremost disciple of the 9th heaven. Even if outmatched, she could easily escape unscathed. Yi Baiyu herself shared this confidence, responding with calm precision. Her ancestral field opened, releasing a radiant moon that soared forth, bathing the battlefield in violet light as it collided with Li Wei's thrusting sword. With a whoosh, 1,000 inscriptions ancient sword materialized in her hand. Boom! Li Wei's sword shattered her protective violet aura, its movements fluid as a serpent's dance, plunging downward with relentless force. Yi Baiyu felt as if the entire sky had transformed into a sea of sword shadows. The dragon's roar reverberating in her ears sent shivers through her soul spirit, and she sensed an unprecedented level of danger. The 1,000 inscriptions ancient sword in her hand hummed violently, vibrating from the force unleashed by the yellow dragon's sword. Sizzle. The sword's edge pierced through her left shoulder, only to be blocked by her spiritual artifact battle armor. Even a glancing blow from the sword's power felt like being struck by a mountain. Her body flew sideways to the right, weightless as a feather, the entire left half of her body numb with pain. Xuanhuan stood on the sea surface, unfastening the chains around her neck. Sensing the murderous intent radiating from Li Wei, she thought to herself, this guy's planning to strike first. Li Wei had discussed with her the plan to have her impersonate Lu Fengshu and meet Princess Dengfeng, working together to deal with Fu Wenyan. He had also revealed that Fu Wenyan had attempted to assassinate him in Old Yuzhou, nearly killing him. It was this near-fatal injury inflicted by Fu Wenyan that had forced Li Wei to disappear for 3 months, hiding away to heal. Li Wei, stop spreading lies. We only intended to intercept you too, not kill you. If you dare harm Baiyu, do you know the consequences? Yi Kang understood better than anyone the terrifying power of Li Wei's earlier sword strike. Burning with anxiety and regret for listening to Fu Wenyan, he realized they had given this formidable enemy the perfect opportunity to strike. Sensing the whistling wind of an incoming projectile, Li Wei dodged the flying dagger spiritual artifact Yi Kang had launched and swung his second sword strike at Yi Baiyu. Bang! Yi Baiyu's 1,000 inscriptions ancient sword shattered into 2 pieces under the yellow dragon sword's assault. Blood spurted from her mouth and nose, her veil fell away, and she was flung backward like a straw doll. Without hesitation, Yi Baiyu crushed an escape talisman bestowed upon her by her elders, unleashing a burst of speed rivaling that of an immortal realm great power as she fled into the distance. Boom! The purple heaven thunder seal shot forth, controlled by Li Wei's spiritual qi, and slammed down 4 times in succession. Finally, 2 miles away, the 4th strike shattered the defensive power of Yi Baiyu's escape talisman, blasting her into a cloud of blood mist and a golden skeleton. The entire sea surface was engulfed in purple thunder and lightning, leaving a massive crater in its wake. Fu Wenyan, Meng Hualong, Zhu Kexier Chongtian, and the others turned to witness the scene. On distant warships, Lingxiao realm human race martial mystic cultivators watched from afar, their hearts gripped by terror. She was the chief disciple of the 9th heaven, a figure of unparalleled status. How could she be killed so casually? How could escape be impossible? Li Wei. Meng Hualong, already several miles away, roared with fury. As the strongest among the Zhongsheng Academy's group, he was their top chief disciple. Fu Wenyan sighed inwardly, realizing he had underestimated Li Wei's determination to kill him. The man hadn't lacked the courage to strike, he had simply been waiting for the opportunity. I handed Li Wei the knife that killed Yi Baiyu. But Fu Wenyan's guilt quickly dissipated, replaced by a strange sense of satisfaction. He declared coldly, you shattered the alliance between the Calamity Crossing Temple and the human race of the Lingxiao realm. You will bear the consequences. Sister Yu. Thud. Xuanhuan clutched her throat, spitting out a mouthful of blood as she collapsed. Damn it. The Zhongsheng Academy actually dared to harm the young celestial emperor of the Xuanhu sect. This is outrageous. Let's fight them to the death. On the warship, the Xuanhu sect's martial mystic cultivators, their fury ignited, charged toward the sea area where Xuanhuan had fallen. And he calls me reckless. Tai Shiyu thought silently, watching Li Wei's astonishing progress in the martial mystic Dao, having slain a 9th heaven Dao seed realm martial mystic cultivator within mere moments. Seizing this opportunity to eliminate Fu Wenyan, Tai Shiyu led a group of 9th heaven elders from the imperial court into the fray. That old hag Madame Yi slaughtered countless experts of our imperial court in Lingxiao city. Now, the Yi clan's descendants dare to launch a sneak attack on the heaven's chosen daughter of our Lingxiao realm. This is an outrage we cannot tolerate. Kill them all. The Yi clan must be after Xuanhuan's broken lamp. In the distance, Princess Dengfeng absorbed a strand of 6-clawed immortal dragon qi into her body. She stood suspended in midair, gazing toward the source of the surging purple thunder and lightning. Incredible. Even with life-saving measures, the myriad inscriptions artifact leaves no one truly safe, Turtle Scholar exclaimed. His expression turned grave as he continued, Your Highness, if Li Wei uses this opportunity to eliminate Fu Wenyan, how can we negotiate cooperation with him? He's far more assertive and decisive than I imagined. Princess Dengfeng remained calm, the Zhongsheng Academy won't be so easily annihilated. If they were, how would we explain it to the Calamity Crossing Temple? A full-scale conflict is unlikely. Have Water Beaver Immortal contact Li Wei and tell him I possess a 5,000-year-old Millennium Essence herb. Blank. End of chapter. Subscribe to the MTL World at Malworld 1 YouTube channel.